All right. Hello, everybody. KV Chief Meteorologist Hunter Williams here with you with our Friday evening nightly extended update on the forecast. And as we head into this weekend, a little bit of a pattern change coming to our forecast. It's been primarily dry today and then back yesterday. It's not going to be an all weekend washout. It's not going to be like what we had back about a week ago, but scattered storm chances are going to return, and I can't rule out some localized flooding both Saturday and Sunday. So let me start with this, just kind of the headlines of our forecast. Scattered storm chances coming back. Again, some areas are going to go through this weekend and won't see much, if any, rain at all, but others could get pockets of heavy rain, 1 to 3 inches plus of rain, and that could cause some localized flooding. Now, if we get some of that east of I-35 for areas that have not had bad flooding and are not saturated, well, not a big deal. But if we get that over parts of the hill country that are incredibly saturated, that have damage along the creek, streams, and rivers, and where recovery and cleanup is going up, well, then that could be a big deal. So we just want to make sure we're monitoring the forecast. We have a way to get alerts as we go through this weekend, again, both Saturday and Sunday. Now, we do not have a flood watch for any part of our KVU area, but I did want to show you the National Weather Service offices to our west. I believe that's the San Angelo office. They have issued flood watches for many counties to our west. The National Weather Service in Austin said they're monitoring it, but don't plan to issue one for us as of now, but of course, if anything changes, they will. Now, another thing to point out here, so this right here, this is the Colorado River, which dumps down into Lake Buchanan. And what we had a week ago, a lot of the rise from Lake Buchanan came from the San Saba River. So even if we get a lot of rain that's not necessarily into our KVU area, if that causes a bunch more rise over Lake Buchanan is now closing in on full pool. And Lake Buchanan does not have a flood pool above full pool. So we'll have to just keep an eye on Lake Buchanan, our lake level situation, even if it's heavy rain that's falling northwest of our area. If it's in that Highland Lake watershed, we still need to keep an eye on it. Okay, live view outside on this Friday afternoon. It's mostly sunny. Earlier, we had some downpours that moved through. Before those downpours, we warmed up to 93, and for the airport, average is 96. But since then, temperatures have dropped. Earlier, it was down at 83 in Austin. Now we're seeing at 86. You can see where these little downpours drifted kind of right across the I-35 corridor. But then as you go east into areas that were not really impacted by the clouds or the rain, it's 91 in Bastrop, LaGrange, a little warmer, 89 degrees. So that's looking at your temperatures on this Friday afternoon into the early evening. On the 3-hour loop, there was that batch of slightly more widespread showers and downpours that developed. Honestly, that was a little bit more widespread than what we had in the forecast today. We just had a 10%, but almost all of that has fizzled. Just a 10% is going to take us into sundown, and then the overnight hours tonight should be completely dry. So let's go to the weekend. Let's talk about these higher rain chances coming in starting tomorrow in the early afternoon. This is Saturday at 7 a.m., some patchy low clouds in the morning. Then as we go to the afternoon, we start to heat things up. That is when these, at first, just kind of hit or miss showers and storms develop. Now, I will tell you, the high-res models, and this has been a theme, have been all over the place, right? So some are showing more widespread heavy rain, and others, like this latest run of our graph model, are keeping things pretty hit or miss as we go to Saturday and keep a lot of the activity over the coastal plains. And again, you know, we'd still need to watch the flood threat there, but these are not the same areas that had 20 inches of rain over the past couple of days. Now, just because this is what this one model shows doesn't mean that these pop-up storms couldn't be here. And then one of the other trends I want to watch, I do want to watch Saturday evening into Saturday night. Here's why. So you see that? This model does generate a more organized complex of storms, but keeps it to the north. But again, just say the model's wrong a little bit, and instead that complex makes it down into the hill country. That's the type of stuff that we need to watch out for. Just based on what I'm seeing with just pattern recognition and the amount of moisture that we're going to have in place, I have a 40% rain chance in our forecast for Saturday afternoon into the evening, and still will need to watch out and see if any of those clusters develop, if those could come in Saturday night. Otherwise, assuming that does not happen, we'd be primarily dry Sunday in the morning, and then would get scattered to numerous showers and storms bubbling up again for the afternoon into the early evening on Sunday. So I think you get the idea. Raining constantly? Absolutely not. But scattered waves of storms and some embedded heavy downpours, that's certainly a possibility. Saturday, 40%, 93. Same thing basically on Sunday, 40%, high of 92. So let's get into the flood risk now. Saturday, the Weather Prediction Center, they've upgraded areas along And then back west of I-35 to the level 2 out of 4. That's a slight risk for flooding. Then a level 1 into our eastern areas. Then on Sunday, the risk goes down a little bit, but still level 1 includes a good chunk of our KVU area. So this looks more like a localized and primarily a minor flood risk. But again, it's just circumstantial to where it develops. Even if it's minor flooding, if this is places in the hill country, then it could still be a big deal where we've got cleanup, recovery, very saturated soils. We've got creek beds and streams with all sorts of debris in it. It still could be very problematic. 48-hour rainfall off both our graph and our high-res HRRR model. This graph model, a little bit more hit or miss with these heavy downpours, but again, you can pick out, this isn't exactly where they'll be, but you can pick out where it's got some heavy downpours, a quick 1 to 3 inches of rain. This HRRR model, this would not be a good situation. It has more widespread pockets of heavy rain in the hill country. So this is the type of thing that we'd have to keep an eye out for if one of those clusters of storms does develop, but it's over our area and over the hill country. That's the type of thing that would start to reinvigorate at least some localized, more lower end flooding across parts of the hill country. And, you know, as I mentioned too, we've got to watch lake levels and stream flow and river flow and all of that too for this weekend. All right, tonight, mostly cloudy, 10% chance for an evening storm. 76 is what we'll drop down to overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. A 40% chance for storms on your Saturday. 93, localized flooding is going to be a possibility. It's not a guarantee, and I sure hope it doesn't happen, but I just need to point it out. We've got a lot of moisture in the atmosphere still, so any storms that tap into that could produce heavy rainfall rates, localized 1 to 3 inches plus of rain. Flooding risk Saturday and Sunday. Then as we go into Monday, next week, this is exactly what we need. You know, many Julys we wouldn't be asking for a long stretch of dry weather, but this July we need it. So just a 10% on Monday, then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. High temperatures are going to trend warmer, yes, but we've got at least a 5-day stretch, and it's going to go beyond that. A 5-day plus stretch of dry weather where we're not going to have any chance for rain and we're not going to have any chance for additional flooding. But the bottom line, guys, just I know we've got recovery and cleanup and crews and volunteers all across Central Texas. Let's just make sure we're kind of tapped into the forecast this weekend and we have a way to get alerts. I hope there's not additional flooding, and it's possible we go through this weekend, there's no flooding issues at all. It's possible. Again, these are 40% chances for storms, but just given what's happened in our area over the past week or so, I just want to make sure we're all on the same page and we know there's at least potential for localized flooding. And so we're paying attention to the forecast. We have a way to get our alerts. So that's going to be it for tonight. Next update from me, we'll have some more model data too. It's going to be about 3 hours from now. KVU News at 10 o'clock. And then we'll be keeping a very close eye on things as we go through the weekend. We'll keep the updates to the forecast coming. Y'all stay safe and have a good weekend. We'll talk to you at 10.